The NBA is the place where amazing happens, but it is also the place where tragedy strikes. Injuries can redefine careers and alter lives permanently, leaving lasting impacts on a player's body that extend far beyond the game itself. In this video, we'll reveal the injuries that permanently changed an NBA player's body forever. And the first one we have is Darko Milicic. Milicic is known for a lot of things, being the second overall pick after LeBron James, one of the biggest busts in NBA history, chugging a bottle of beer with no hands, and being the first player from the 2003 draft class to win a championship. However, despite being part of the 2004 Detroit Pistons championship squad, he had little impact in the playoffs. He appeared in just 8 games and never played more than 3 minutes in any of them. Ironically, during Game 5 of the NBA Finals, as the Pistons were cruising to victory, Darko somehow managed to break his hand. He played in just 2 minutes in that game, and the injury occurred during that brief stint on the court. Reports at the time mentioned that the second overall pick was hurt toward the end of the game. The injury's exact timing wasn't clear, but Darko missed the celebratory parade due to it. In a later interview, Darko revealed that he went to the sidelines to tell then head coach Larry Brown about his broken hand, but Brown didn't believe him and told him to get back into the game. Darko aggravated the injury again moments later during garbage time, no less. The Pistons had already secured the win, which made this situation even more frustrating for Darko. The hand injury required surgery and caused him to miss over 2 months. This setback severely affected his training and development. Since he had barely any time to get better over the summer, the Pistons' lack of concern for his well-being didn't help either. While Darko often gets criticized, it's worth noting that he was drafted into a challenging situation that didn't support his personal growth. Remember that massive trade that involved Andrew Bynum and Dwight Howard? The one that sent Bynum to the 76ers with all that hype back in 2012? At the time, Bynum was seen as one of the top centers in the league, competing with one Dwight Howard for that title. The excitement in Philadelphia was insane, and it was highlighted by Sixers director's famous statement about how this trade would position the team for long-term success. Unfortunately, Bynum never played a single game for the Sixers. His career ended abruptly, and it's a sad story to say the least. While bowling with his friends, Bynum tweaked his knee, which was a major setback. He had previously received injections in both knees and was supposed to be resting. The bowling incident made things worse as his knee swelled up and bruised. Over time, the cartilage in his knee weakened and his knee became degenerative. Though his career was already on borrowed time, this incident accelerated the process. Now let's unravel the mystery of Greg Oden. Oden was haunted by knee issues, but his first major injury was anything but ordinary. September 2007, right before his rookie season kicks off, Oden is on the brink of his NBA debut, full of promise and excitement. But then, out of nowhere, he's hit with a major setback, microfracture surgery on his right knee. What's shocking is that there were no red flags before the draft. Everything seemed fine until that bizarre twist. Oden injured his knee just by standing up from his couch. Yeah, standing up from his couch. He felt a sudden pop, a moment that seemed rather impossible at the time. That something seamlessly that harmless can set off a chain reaction that would literally alter the guy's career forever. As the months went by, the injury didn't just linger, it worsened. Oden ended up needing 3 separate surgeries on that same knee. That feeling that something was terribly wrong grew each and every day. Like, think about it. What if that act of simply standing up had never happened? Would his career have turned out differently? It's kind of hard to say, right? The fragility in his knees made it seem like a disaster that was inevitable. But that small, almost absurd moment really set the stage for a career marred by injuries and missed potential. That dramatic turn of events surrounded by Greg Oden's injury should remind us all how quickly fortunes can change. All of this because of a single insignificant movement that we all make each and every day. Prior to the 2008-2009 season, Monta was the talk of the league. He was a second-round pick who had made remarkable strides in his game in just over a few years. The season before, he put up impressive numbers, and his ability to finish at the rim was pretty good. He hit an astonishing 68% of his shots at the basket. Mind you, Monta is only 6'3". However, things took a turn when Ellis signed a hefty 6-year, $66 million deal in 2008. Shortly after, he broke his contract by riding a moped, crashing it and severely injuring his ankle. The fallout was significant. Ellis was suspended for 30 games and the injury hampered his athleticism and speed. When he returned, his playstyle had changed. Although he still tried to attack the rim, he shifted primarily to the mid-range game. His drives and attempts at the basket were dropped, which led to a decrease in efficiency. While Monta had some solid seasons after, he never quite regained that previous form. The most critical impact of Monta's injury was the domino effect it had on the Warriors. With Monta out and Baron Davis traded, the Warriors had a terrible season, winning only 29 games. Ironically, this poor performance earned them a high lottery pick, which they selected, of course, Steph Curry, and the rest is history. But imagine if Monta hadn't crashed into that moped and he was poised for a career season, potentially adding a few more wins that would have possibly prevented the Warriors from drafting Steph. It's ironic how Monta's injury indirectly helped the Warriors become a championship team, even though he wasn't part of it. Despite the controversy surrounding his post-career life, Kevin Johnson was an outstanding point guard during his playing days. However, his career was overshadowed by a series of injuries that led to his early retirement. The most serious injury actually started as a bit of a joke. Back in 1992, Johnson suffered from an undiagnosed sports hernia. The cause? Well, he routinely lifted his hefty teammate, Oliver Miller, during warm-ups. Miller weighed over 300 pounds, and Johnson kept up his routine for 2 years, unknowingly damaging his back. By 1996, Johnson discovered he had an undiagnosed hernia and needed surgery to repair. Although he still performed exceptionally well in the playoffs, his game began to decline in the mid to late 90s. The hernias caused him to miss numerous regular season games during a crucial period when the Suns were contenders. It's particularly sad because these injuries were Charles Barkley's best chance at winning a title, yet his top teammate was struggling to stay healthy. Tony Allen was having the best season of his career on the Boston Celtics in January 2007. He was making great strides and everything looked promising. Then, during a regular season game, Allen got fouled by Steven Jackson, and despite the whistle blowing, Allen still decided to go and throw down a dunk. He went up, missed the dunk, and landed awkwardly on his left knee. That landing ruptured his ACL and MCL. When Allen came back, he had to change his play style because he had lost a significant chunk in his athleticism. Back then, Allen was a high flyer with enormous potential due to his athleticism. However, after the injury, he reinvented himself into a defensive powerhouse, the grindfather we all know and love. This injury changed his entire career trajectory, shifting him from an aspiring star to a defensive-minded player. He adapted to compensate for his diminished scoring role. Reflecting on the injury, Allen said, "It was definitely a humble experience to injure myself because around that time, I was playing at a high level. Unfortunately, that happened. But like I say, it made me into the man I am today." And let's shine a light on an intriguing honorable mention. Larry Bird. You've likely heard the tales of Bird's relentless work ethic, shoveling snow for his family, and even helping his mom build a new driveway. But behind these acts of dedications were a truly hidden cost. Bird's back problems, which ultimately cut his career short, can be linked to all that manual labor. Larry Legend. at the peak of his powers, engaging in grueling physical work that seemed harmless at the time. But those seemingly simple tasks like shoveling snow and hauling material slowly took their toll on his back. Imagine the tension as Bird's back issues got worse. Each move, each and every day of manual labor, literally squeezing around his career. What if he had hired someone to do these things instead? Could it have spared him from all the pain that cut his career short? The suspense builds as we wonder, if he would have just had somebody else do it, how long Larry Bird could have been an effective player. The dramatic irony of Bird's situation is really telling, as he's one of the greatest players of all time, but unknowingly paved his way for the new generation and his own downfall with every single shovel of snow and every time he loaded up gravel. It's truly a reminder that even the most simplest of decisions can really cast long shadows over a career. And those were a few players who suffered career-altering injuries that leave a lasting impact on their bodies forever. Let me know your thoughts on this video, and if you can think of any other players with these silly injuries that hampered their careers, let me know in the comment section. Join our Discord, subscribe to our channel, and I'll see you in the next one.